Coming up on Trim Boys, Travis and Nick travel to Deep Pier, Wisconsin to a finished basement that needs some trim. So they grab their tools and they get working. Trim boys, got a miter saw and a nail gun. Trim boys, we won't stop until we get the job done. Oh, trim boys, trim boys, cutting trim and we're having fun.
Okay, so today what we're going to do, we're going to put trim down this new freshly done basement. As you can see, there is no trim. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to put on some new trim. It's going to be a good time. The tools we're going to use today is a miter saw. You know, it's a basic miter saw, as you can see. And also, we like to listen to a little tune sometimes. So we're going to use our DeWalt radio.
I'm great. How are you today?
It's going to be awesome.
The first thing to do when putting up trim is to make sure you get all the doors and all the windows framed up first, and then you work from there. Let's frame and box the window.
So we're going to finish the window right now. We're going to put the trim on. But what you notice is a little condensation on the window. I can't tell if you can see that right now, but so what we got to do first is put a little caulk on the thing so the condensation does not leak down. Up next, we're going to put the trim on.
First things first, let's make that box. Coming up next, Travis cuts more trim and nails it up. But first, safety tip!
So here's your safety tip of the day. If you're cutting in a basement and it's not well lit, sometimes you got to use a lamp, like we did right here. And then it's well lit.
Safety tip! Trim boys.
You want to make sure your window is level. So what you got to do sometimes is put shims in. That's shimtastic.
What time is it? Window trim time! Whoo!
Okay, so the goal when you're doing trim is to do your best. You know, you want these to butt up perfectly right here. But if you can't do that, then what they say is do your best and caulk the rest.
Coming up next, the Trim Boys tackle the rest of the basement. But first, caulk this!
You're on. So when you're doing trim, sometimes you have nail holes you have to fill in. What we use is caulk. What you want to do is you fill up the nail hole, take a wet rag, and come right off.
Trim Boys.
What you want to do when you're doing trim in a basement, you want to make sure all your furniture is downstairs first. This way, when you're done, all you got to do is move it right back to the wall. And you don't have to carry anything down the stairs.
Let's finish that trim.
You know, I might have cut this piece a little too long, but hey, I don't have my board stretcher with me. Small room, so you have to turn each one around. Yeah, buddy. Good.
we're about halfway done. We're cutting trim and we're having fun.
The boys are almost done. They have one more project left to cap that ledge by the stairs. Trim tricks.
Hey Trav, you got any spare trim? Thanks, dude.
Trim tricks. Trim boys. Well, after a long day's work, they are topping off the ledge. Travis first cuts the top piece and nails it up. The next step is to cut the thin strips to trim it off. Make sure to sand your pieces so no one gets a splinter. After it's cut to size, nail it up and double check your work for perfection.
Looks good.
Now you got a great looking ledge.
Well, as you can tell, the basement is now finished and everything looks great. And that's another edition of Trim Boys. Thank you. So we're going to use our Thanks, dude. Got that. I'm really excited. We're cutting trim and we're having fun. It's gonna be a good time.
Trim boys.